Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to episode 3 of Glen Tyler TV. That's right, this is a web show slash not podcast that I named after myself because I am a narcissist. It's also just really simple, and I don't know what I'm doing with this thing, so if I just give it my name, then there's no expectation whatsoever. It could be me talking by myself, it could be me talking with a comedian, a criminal, maybe someone that was lost at sea for a long time that I found and I'm not giving the whereabouts to until I get a cash prize. But folks, today that's exactly what we have. We have a former hostage of the Pirates of the Caribbean here with us, my good friend Nick Marcin, fellow New York comedian. Nick, thanks for being here today. How are you, my friend? How's it going?
I'm good, man. That's the best introduction I've ever gotten before. I'm very unique and all accurate. I'm doing well. It's good to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, man. So we're just glad that you survived the ship. I mean,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
got to be brutal at sea, and I know that
yeah.
you can't swim.
No, definitely not.
Amazing. So yeah, glad to
Yeah.
have you here. No, folks, this is Nick, a very funny comedian. I actually went to one of his shows recently where he won the competition for Tight Pants Comedy out of, I believe, 10 comics, right?
Yeah, 10 comics.
10 comics. Everyone on the lineup was really good, but not as good as Nick because he walked away with the title, and it was a great time. So yeah, Nick, my man, brother, I want to ask you a little bit about your comedy aspirations, man. Like, I mean, first off, how old are you? How long have you been doing comedy?
So I'm 26 years old. I've only been doing comedy for about a year. I got a late start. So I started at around like 25. But I've really enjoyed it. But I started at the beginning of last year.
And was it something you always like wanted to do, or was it like, oh, I'm just gonna try like to do this for fun as a hobby, or was it something you like maybe growing up you always thought about but didn't know was possible? Like, I'm just curious, how did it even come to fruition? Like, what made you want to get up there that first time?
Yeah, kind of a mix of everything you just said. So I grew up doing soccer. And so like honestly, like I kind of lived in a place where like I didn't really consider any other interests that I had. I was just kind of one track mind on that. So any interest I had in comedy, I just kind of like pushed to the side, never really did anything about. Then once I got through college and realized I'm obviously not good enough to be a professional soccer player, which I probably should have seen coming a few years before, I was like, well, what am I doing? I may as well try this out. I've always been interested in it, and I've really liked it since.
Now, I can kind of relate to the soccer thing because I really wanted to be an MLB baseball player.
Yeah.
And I had a fairly decent career in elementary, middle school, and early high school. Not to make this about me, but as I said, narcissist, and it's literally called Glen Tyler TV. So I will always find a way to make it about myself, which is toxic. But I wanted to go to the MLB. I wanted to play baseball for the Cleveland Indians and win a World Series for my hometown. And I knew that was not going to happen when I was in high school and I was playing on the freshman team for the second year in a row as a sophomore. So, we all get humbled in different ways.
Yeah.
But I think that's when I realized this isn't going to work out. So
What position did you play?
I was third string second base for varsity, backup for JV, but starter on the freshman team
There we
as
go.
a sophomore.
There
So
we go.
I will say I did have a triple play, and I think it's the only triple play to ever be done on Ellett High School's field. And I was
Wow.
playing second base. There was a blooper hit, runners on first and second, little blooper hit in between second and short.
Yeah.
I had this running, beautiful Sports Center dive, backhand the catch, and then I step on second, throw it to first, and they're like, yeah! And then my coach comes to me, and he's like, hey, if you can do that with your glove, I know you can do even better with your bat. And I went up there, and I struck out.
Yeah. Hey, well,
Yeah.
that's all right. I mean, I'd imagine your jersey's up in the rafters after that.
Yeah, I made that. I mean, I did do the triple play, but I made up that it might be the only one ever. Maybe there were more. I just can't imagine that there was more. But anyway, back to you. Now, you wanted to play soccer. You made it to the collegiate level, correct?
I did play soccer in college.
Okay, so what was that like? I mean, how did it go? When did you realize, like, what was it when you were like, man, this isn't going to work out. I'm not going to be able to play in the really well-respected MLS.
Well, honestly, I was a classic case of realizing it way too late. Because if you look at my soccer career, I didn't even play on the college team, really. I was just kind of like on the bench. I was a locker room guy, Glenn. I was hyping
Personality.
the people up. Yeah, I was a personality guy. And I realized way too late that this wasn't going to work out for me, which was detrimental to my development as a professional and in every other aspect of my life. But that is what it is. No, so probably like senior year, I was like, okay, wait, maybe I should start thinking about like other things that I'm interested in, you know? And then comedy came after that. Even like after college, like I ended college, went into sales, and have been doing that for like 2 or 3 years. And then I was like, why have I not gotten on stage yet? I've been interested in that.
So it sounds like you felt this rejection in soccer and you were like, "Wow, I love rejection so much
yes.
that I don't want to get away from it, so I'm going to become a comedian and a salesperson, two of the most rejected professions I think in the world."
Yeah, I love it. I love it when people tell me that they hate me. I love it. I love being looked down upon. I thrive off of that. So that's kind of why I chose this.
Yeah, yeah. I'm yeah, that's saying a lot about who your girlfriend might be, even though I haven't met her
Yeah,
yet, but
yeah,
if it's
yeah.
what you
No,
like,
on the first date, she told me that this was never going to work out, and that was all I needed. You know what I mean?
and you were hooked. You were like,
I was
"Oh my
hooked.
God, that is so hot."
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I get it, man. It's
Yeah,
just nice to be humbled every once in a while or every
yeah.
single day.
I mean, when you have egos like we have, like you need that. You know what I mean? My ego
Yeah.
is too big. I need to be kicked down a few pegs every now and then.
And everyone I know that knows you says, dude, Nick's ego is out of hand.
Yeah, it's
Like
crazy. He will
ridiculous.
not stop talking about himself. It's like, oh my,
Yeah.
like I hear he's doing a podcast with another guy who calls
Yeah.
the podcast after his first name.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, dude.
Yeah.
And one thing I will say, Nick, that I love about you is your reactions to things. Like I've seen you get some pretty bad news in real time, and you're just like, wow, that is crazy. Yeah, that's wild. And it's like I would be like, what do you mean? Like,
Yeah.
what happened? Like, I'm such an emotional person that when I see you, and I'm like, that's as upset as he's ever gotten, and it's like. It's just like also the happiest you've ever been too. It's like the same monotone, like, yeah, right?
Yeah.
That's
I don't
crazy
know
that happened.
what that says about my childhood and how that was developed, to be honest. But yeah, I don't know. I'm here most of the time. Right here. Like it's hard to get me up and down.
Yeah, I love it though. It's so New York. I mean, you fit in perfectly in New York because you could be on the subway and you could see someone getting proposed to and being like, wow,
Yeah.
that's great. Good for
Like
them.
that's kind of in the way, but like good for them.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But you could also see someone getting stabbed over and over and over, and you'd be like, dang, that is crazy. I'm glad that's not me.
Oof. It's a tough day for that guy.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
gonna go home now. I gotta catch a train.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Well, I want to ask you about stand-up.
Yeah.
How is it? What is your experience? Because starting out, I mean, I think we've probably been doing it around the same amount. I mean, I've been doing it a few years, but on and off, and I've had setbacks, and now I really feel like I'm back in the grind after some time off for surgery. What is your experience, man? Because it's really hard to get up there. Everyone thinks that like, oh, you're a comedian, tell a joke. Oh, I just want to punch those people in the face.
Yeah,
But I
yeah,
don't because of legal reasons.
Yeah.
But everyone thinks like, oh, you just have you're a funny guy, you're a comedian, then like you have a bunch of jokes like ready to go. But it's like we're actively figuring out what's funny and what's not, but we're up there trying,
100%.
right? So what is your experience of like starting to where you're at now and like what you feel is better and what you kind of struggle with? I asked you 4 questions. You got to answer them all.
Yeah, no, that's great. I'll try and rattle them off. I think like specifically to touch on like the like new jokes, figuring out what's funny. That's one thing that I always find hilarious about like my friends and like family. It's like they'll come see me at a show on like a Saturday, and then I'll have a show on Thursday, and they're like, "So are you gonna do like a whole new set with new material?" And I'm like, what? No, what do you mean? Every show they expect like a new 10-minute set, and I'm like, that's not how this.
It's like
I'm fighting for my life out here trying to get through a 5-minute tight 5. But no,
I mean,
so
it's like
that's
if you ask
always
Kelly
interesting.
Clarkson, it's like, hey, Kelly Clarkson, are you going to do 20 new minutes of music tomorrow that we haven't heard yet?
Yeah.
It's just like, no,
every
that's not how
time.
it works.
So that's always been something that makes me laugh, and I have to tell them. And then I just stop inviting them because I feel bad because they're coming to see the same thing every time. But no, it's been interesting. I definitely think it's been more of a grind than I expected because obviously, like when you start off, I guess you don't really realize how like brutal the New York City comedy scene is. You know what I mean? Like there's so many people that are hilarious. Like you'll go to a random open mic and like there's 10 people way funnier than you. So that's always like kind of humbling. You know what I mean?
Very humbling. Yeah, there is really so much talent in this city. And it's like, when I was just doing it for fun in college in a small town in Indiana, it's like, you're hilarious. You're so funny. But then you
Yeah,
come here,
yeah.
it's like, I am nothing compared to these people. But
Yeah, and then you'll go and do like your best jokes at an open mic and like crickets. And you're
yeah,
like, that's the best I've got. You're like you're trying new stuff and then like 2 minutes in you get nothing. So you're like, let me switch this up. Let me throw in a banger here and then still nothing. And you're like, oh no, I'm in
yeah.
trouble.
It's like, oh, they didn't like that because it's new. Well, here's one of my greatest hits. You still don't like
Yeah,
that? Well, I am terrible. And I'm going to go
exactly.
cry for days. And I won't be
Yep.
coming to an open mic for about a month because it's going to take that long to get the courage to do it again.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, mics are hard. They're tough. And I think for me, it's like I've just been forcing myself to do it more. And you get comfortable with the silence. Like,
Yeah.
if you can get comfortable with a joke not crushing and you not get fluttered, like, I mean, I still get flustered. I think everyone does to an extent. But it's like if you can at least fake not being fazed by things, it goes a
That's
long way.
biggest skill. One like such a good skill. We've talked about this previously, but like being able to just like stay in the batter's box, I think like as a new comedian is something like that I'm definitely still developing. Like I was doing a show the other day and it just like starts crumbling in and the walls start closing in and you're like, oh my God, nothing's working right now. And I think you can tell the people that have been doing it a long time because they can just hang in there and win everybody back.
Yeah. No, it definitely can make a difference because we've seen people that have really good jokes and terrible stage presence and confidence.
Hmm.
Oh, but like we're like, oh, that's a good premise if they said it this way or if they were more confident, it'd be funny. But then you have people that are just so confident, you're like, these are not incredible jokes, but they're just
Yeah,
funny up there, and I think I should laugh because they're making me feel as if I should laugh at them.
exactly. Like they could say anything. Yeah, you'll see that, and you'll see those people like do well like at an open mic or something, where it's like they're in a room of like 10 comedians who are sitting there silently, and they'll start crushing just because like they're funny on stage. And I
Yeah.
think that obviously takes a lot of time to develop that confidence.
But yeah, man, it's really tough. Here's what I want to ask you because we've talked about this in the past. But do you have like, we have to do bringer shows. We invite our friends, right? And early on, you do a lot of bringer shows, which for those who don't know, it's just to get stage time, you have to sell a certain amount of tickets, right? And so they do that for newer comedians. Well, I've done shows where you'll have to bring 2 or 3, but early on I was an idiot and I did shows where you had to bring like 6. And I
Hmm.
would bomb miserably in front of those 6 people and then never see them again because I would block them and I was so
Yeah.
embarrassed that I didn't want to see them again. Do you have any terrible bombing stories you can think of? Like what's the kind of your worst bomb or like anything where it's just like, it was just so bad that you felt like you would never do it again, but now you're here.
Yeah. I mean, I've done quite a few. I did this show at Broadway Comedy Club, Industry Room, very popular show. People,
Down
a
in
lot
the
of new,
downstairs in the main
yeah,
room?
in the
Yeah.
downstairs, a lot of new comedians. And this was like I was brand new, so I honestly hadn't like really bombed in front of people before and not done well. So like before that happens for the first time, you're not really thinking about it. You're kind of naive. You're like, let me invite everybody here. So I had like a big group. I was posting about it, had everybody come out. There were people that I hadn't even like communicated with about coming that were showing up. And I went up there and just like buckled, absolutely buckled under the pressure. And if anybody's done the downstairs room at Broadway Comedy Club, it is so bright when you're up there. So bright,
The brightest lights ever. Like
crazy.
I have to go to an eye doctor immediately after that show because it's just like I'm seeing dots everywhere.
Yeah. And I just crumbled up there and did not perform well. And then people left without even saying anything to me because I think they felt so bad. They were like, I'm not even going to go up to this guy and be like, hey, they couldn't even fake good job up there because it would have been so like, I would have looked them dead in the eye and been like, we both know we're lying here. Like, let's just cut it. But no, that one definitely sticks out. I did this joke about going to Columbia. Like I had this joke about going to Columbia and how I was like the least intelligent kid at Columbia University. And I had like this email that I was reading off of my phone and I started like stumbling. I like forgot how to read in the middle of the set. It was just like everyone was like, "Oh, poor guy."
Yeah. I mean, people just don't get you. Like panic. You're up there and you're like,
Yeah.
you can be in your room practicing, looking in the mirror, doing whatever, and then you get up there and you're like, oh, wow, it's completely different. And you're like, I should not be here. I don't deserve to be here. I'm not funny. What's going on? How do I read? Wait, what's English? What's that word? Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like I'll be trying to read jokes at an open mic off my notes, just like, and I'm
Yeah.
like so nervous that I'm like not even reading. I'm literally like just staring at a screen like. And I start riffing, and it's terrible.
My hand starts shaking holding the phone, and I'm like, "Oh my god, what's going on?"
Yeah. I think that's I think over time we'll both get better at that and building the confidence and everything. But like I told you, I mean, I had a show last week. It was my first show in a while since my surgery, and I did like 10 open mics the week before. Because I wanted to do like mostly new material, and the material's not done. It's not finished. There's a few decent punchlines, and I think there's some good premises. But I wanted to be able to have the confidence and like handle, even if I wasn't getting a ton of laughs, I wanted to be able to like you said, stay in the batter's box and just go for it. And so like I think like over time, the more mics, the more experience, it gets better and better. And there's far more experienced comedians here than me that know that, and they would watch me and they'd be like, oh, that guy's new, he gets it, or he's not getting it, but he'll get it one day.
What is your worst bombing story? I would love to hear it.
Okay, so it was at Greenwich Village Comedy Club. I do a lot of shows at Greenwich Village Comedy Club. It is a dark, small room that's kind of a basement type. But the reason I like doing that room is because, like, it's so, like, it feels like if you're going to bomb, you want to bomb here. It feels like you're in a dungeon. And it's like...
Yeah, it's built for it.
It's built for it. And it's like, I haven't graduated from the dungeon yet. So I don't deserve to be doing these big old shows. So it's like, I'll do this one for like 20, 30, maybe they can fit 40 people in that room. But I had a show there. It was one of those bringers early on where I invited 6 people. Now, I had just taken a comedy class like 6 months prior and had been doing my same 5 minutes. And I was better than most people in the comedy class, humbly speaking. Like, I'm not saying that.
Hey,
I mean, there were some.
I believe you.
I'm only saying that because, like, out of the 20 people, there were probably only like 4 of us that really wanted to do comedy, and the other 16 were like doing it for fun or for public speaking reasons or to make friends or whatever it was. Which, by the way, a comedy class, not a great place to make friends.
Not a great place to make friends.
Yeah,
like, I could see how someone like would think that it would be, and then but all you need is to meet like a couple young comedians, and you're immediately going to be like, oh, this is not what I'm looking for.
And I don't mean that as in like you're not going to make any friends. I just mean like it's not going to be one big group of friends where everyone loves each other. I did make some friends from that class. Like there's like 2 or 3 people I'm still in regular contact with, and they're crushing it, and then I think they're hilarious and they're great people. And there were other people that are great people, we just didn't become friends. But anyway, so I just but like I was at that show because you pay so much money for this class, so they give you like a sold out show spot at Gotham Comedy Club. It was through the Manhattan Comedy School, and then like I go up after the host and there's the host, the warm up, and then me. So I followed 2 pro comedians on my like debut and crushed, only because it was like a crowd of friends and family, and everyone's nervous for like the new guys. But I go back and I watch that set, and I'm like, dude, you were so nervous up there. But I had a few decent punchlines, and everyone was nice because it's like, oh, that's a comedy class. These are like innocent little children trying their little to be funny. And so, but in my mind, I'm like, dang, if I just crushed at that room. But it's also easier to crush when you have 300 people in the crowd because
that
more
want
people
to
are
root for you.
Yeah, they want to root for you, and more people are willing to laugh than like the 40 people that are like, who is this guy? And this comedy show is going way too long, and it smells like eggs in here right now because it's a small room and someone farted. So
what were you gonna say? Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I was gonna ask your opinion.
Yeah, I want to hear it.
On the comedy classes, because that's how I got into it. That was the first thing I did. I did a comic strip class.
I mean,
on the Upper East Side, and that was the first thing I ever did. So
it's just so intimidating. I mean, you moved here from somewhere else. I moved here from somewhere else. I think that it's like a lot of people are like, yeah, don't take a class. It's like, look, you don't really learn how to be funny in those classes necessarily. You just like, it's accountability. For me, it's just like it's a structure of like, all right, we're gonna meet every week, and you have to come with some jokes like prepared, and you have to try and tell them. Because I was not the self-motivated person that was just going to go to an open mic by myself and have the guts to go up there and do it. I went to open mics multiple times in New York City, and I would sit and watch, and they'd be like, who is this weirdo just watching? Like, is he going to murder us? And then finally, this guy at Eastville Comedy Club, he had seen me at like 5 mics. He was like, dude, you came here and sat, and you keep saying you're going to do some jokes. Come up and tell some jokes. And I was like, damn. And I went up, and I told 2 minutes. I got like 1 laugh, and they were like, see, it's not that bad. And then I was like, okay, well, I should probably give it a shot. But I was too scared, so I took the class. So I think the class is good if you just want to get started and you want to kind of like be around people, and if you want to build confidence, because most of the people in the class not going to be comedians, you know? Like,
yeah.
Some of them will. I mean, there's about 3 or 4 people. 2 of them are crushing it as regular stand-ups. One of them she's crushing it at UCB and could probably be on SNL pretty soon. And
Nice.
Another guy already had a pretty good sketch comedy career, but wanted to get more into stand-up. So it's like, you know, there's some people within that, but overall, it's like, I think they're good if you're like me and you're very sensitive and you like to be with people and you don't want to just do something alone, then it's like a good first step. But I would never take another one again, because it's like so much money, and it's like I already know what to do now. I just have to go out and do it. So
Yeah.
that's what I would say. But I'm a fan. I would say to get started, I think it's good. What was your experience with it though?
I had similar experience. I think like one thing that I struggled with, and then I would credit the class in terms of like helping out, is like, I think probably from my background, I'm just like playing soccer. There was always like next steps that were like laid out for you. And I think one thing I was looking for in comedy, and I'm just now realizing, is like kind of like a clear path of like, okay, you do this when you start, then this happens, then this happens, and like a clear
Right.
like layout of like how somebody would make it in comedy. And I think like you realize after a while like that isn't really a thing at all in the stand-up scene. It's kind of just like you work, you grind, you do open mics, you meet people, you get on a couple shows, good things happen if they do or they don't, you know what I mean? And I think like the class, at least for me, was like a good step in terms of like I got to meet people that were interested in stand-up, and it kind of got me on stage at an actual show pretty early. So I enjoyed it as well. There's probably like 2 or 3 comedians that I still talk to from the class and do shows with occasionally. So I would also say that overall it was a positive, but I also would not do it again.
Yeah. You know what I've been seeing a lot lately, and it's really, really making me frustrated. There's a lot of attractive comedians now in New York, and they're really funny and really attractive, and it's really pissing me off, dude.
I get it.
I mean, you're one of them for sure.
I get it, man.
You know, but yeah, I just been noticing that lately. I went to an open mic the other day, and like this girl went up, and she was beautiful, and I was like, she is way too good looking to be funny. And then she was funnier than every single person in that room, and I was like, this is not fair. And there's another guy who I know, I'm not going to say his name, but he's actually a very nice guy, and he's like a very perfect jawline, attractive dude. All the ladies love him. And he goes up there, and I'm like, and he's actually a model. And I'm like, bro, you're not about to be funny. And then he was funnier than everyone. And I'm like, it's just not fair.
Don't you just hate them?
I hate it. And it's like, you know, I'm not saying that you and I are bad looking by any means, you know, but neither of us are 6 foot. We're not 6 foot. Well, not that anyone watching this would know. We're 6'2".
Yeah. No, it's crazy. God plays favorites, man.
For sure. And I've been faithful to the Lord my entire life, dude. What the heck, bro? These godless comedians and you. Okay, I'm just kidding. That's I just go on a rant like, God, why?
A whole diatribe. We go on for an hour and a half talking about religion and
they should be in hell, and I am the one at the open mics bombing. It's not fair, man. They have a jawline, you know, abs, whatever. Anyway, that was more of a venting session.
Yeah.
But well, I want to ask you about this, because you have a really funny bit where you talk about, and I don't want to give it away. You can talk about it if you want.
We can talk about it. I've posted it, so we can.
Okay, great.
We don't have to go in the whole thing, but we can talk about it.
Okay, you have a bit about. It's basically like you have 2 guy roommates, right?
I used to have 3.
Okay, 3 guy roommates in New York City. So there were 4 of you in a 4-bedroom apartment?
Yeah, 1 bathroom.
Where did you find a 4-bedroom apartment? Where do those exist?
We found it in Chelsea. There's a few of them. They're not not hot commodities, I'll tell you that much, but they are out there.
Okay, sorry, random take. This is not going to sound good. I know it's going to be it's a hot take. People are going to be like, "Oh, you're stupid." It's just a personal thing. Maybe it's because I'm in Brooklyn and I'm so like loyal to Brooklyn, but I have friends in town right now. They're staying in Chelsea, and I'm just like, Chelsea's so overrated. Like, I know it was something great back in the day, but I'm just like, it is not worth it now. Like,
I liked it. Okay. I liked it. I was a fan. Sorry to just immediately disagree.
Yeah.
I liked it.
It's okay.
I liked it. No, I thought it was a good mix of like relatively quiet and we could get anywhere that we wanted to go really quickly. So like I was good with it.
For Brooklyn. Maybe that's why Brooklyn, I don't like it. Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't go. But I guess it isn't like the most like lively area anymore. There's not like a ton going on in Chelsea, but I don't know. I didn't hate it.
I just feel like it's overpriced, and it's like it's not as nice as it used to be. Look, I've been here 3 years. What do I know? I just look at pictures from the 70s, like, and I'm like, that was New York. That was the Chelsea I knew. Yeah. We were playing curveball. And all right.
That's an absolutely killer accent. Killer.
It was an accent. I don't know what it was.
And that's why you're incredible at imitations in your stand-up.
I am known for my impressions. I do have a viral Joe Biden impression.
That is true. That is funny.
It was at a Halloween party, and I had a couple beers in me, and it was not a real impression, but somehow it went viral because of my Chinese spy on TikTok.
It's just your charm. Yeah.
Back to your bit, though. Okay, you have 3 roommates in an apartment in Chelsea, and there was a mouse, and you guys found out there was a mouse. How'd you find out again?
It's interesting. So it started off as like my roommate's girlfriend saw it like scurrying, and we were immediately.
So it took a woman to see it. By the way,
absolutely.
It took for a woman to come in the house, be aware of what goes on in an apartment, and then she noticed. That's not just a noise your apartment makes. That's a mouse going across the floor.
Yes, exactly. If it had just been up to the 4 guys, we would have never noticed it at all. But
you're like, damn, there's a lot of dust rolling around in here. Goodness.
My roommate randomly had this like obsession with feeding the birds outside on the fire escape. So he bought like a birdhouse and he put it out on the fire escape, and he bought like, I'm not kidding, like an industrial bag of bird feed. Massive. And he put it in his closet. So she sees this mouse and we're like, what is happening? Like, why would we have mice? And we look in his closet and that bag of bird feed is torn to shreds. And we're like, oh, dang.
You're like, my roommate has a bird food problem, and we got to have a talk with him, okay?
Yeah, exactly. And then it just, that's the bit came from that.
That's crazy.
I could have gone with a couple different things. I mean, a 4-bedroom, 1-bath apartment it's something. It changes you. It changes a man, for sure.
Yeah, and I'm in a 3-bedroom with 3 guys, including myself, and we just had a roommate change. Sorry, can you hear this siren going on?
Yeah. See, this is the problem with podcasting in New York. You know what I mean?
I know, dude. Yeah, it's crazy. That he just interrupted like 14 podcasts on my block right now.
Yeah,
because everyone in Brooklyn has a podcast.
Every 20-year-old white male on your block is in the middle of a podcast.
Literally.
Right now.
Yeah. So that'll be a viral clip if everyone just shares that exact fire truck on Instagram tomorrow.
Yeah.
It did make me lose my train of thought, though. What were we talking about? We were talking about how, like, World War II and your hot takes on it or something?
And the Holocaust, and we were really getting into...
I can't believe you said those things. Okay, we're talking about living with guys. And so the thing is, like, there's things that just go unnoticed by men. Like, jeez, dude, you hear this? This is crazy.
This is crazy. That is crazy.
I'm looking at it drive by my street. There better be a serious fire.
If you walked outside, it would be like 15 white 26-year-olds being like, what's going on?
I'm recording something.
Yeah.
I have 10 people live streaming me right now. Yeah, dude, no. Fort Greene Park better be on fire. Yeah, or maybe the BAM, because I live right by this new thing where Paul Mescal has like some show going. Do you know who Paul Mescal is?
Yeah, of course. Gladiator 2, Normal People.
Well, apparently he's outside my street every single night, like literally across the street, because we have people lining up every single night and blocking traffic, and then they're like, woo! And he comes out. I didn't know who it was for weeks.
Are you sure they're not there for you?
You know, that's what I keep saying. I'm like, guys, you're at the wrong door.
Glen Tyler is here.
Glen Tyler is here, dude.
Yeah.
Get it while he still has his hair, because the FDA is getting rid of my finasteride pills.
Dude, killer.
Isn't that crazy?
It's not fair, man. It's not fair. These
Man.
good-looking comedians keep winning, and they keep trying to put the rest of us down.
Big pharma's on the side of, big hot people. I don't know. I don't have anything for that, but it's just not fair, man.
I think that's just the world, man. I think that's just
survival.
Everybody.
Survival of the fittest. Literally the fittest. Lifetime, Chelsea Piers, whatever the other big gyms are. Equinox, that's the one. Why couldn't I think of that? All right. Well, now that we've taken a 10-minute detour from what I was going to bring up, living with dudes is crazy because it's like you never realize how dirty your house is until someone's like, hey, I'm bringing a girl over for like a movie night or dinner. And then we're like, all right, cool. And then you come home and the apartment is cleaner than it's ever been because he just like deep cleaned the crap out of it. I'm like, dang, I didn't realize how nasty this place was. The one time it gets cleaned is a new girlfriend or someone coming over and they're trying to impress him. And then he's like, hey, like, be careful how you guys act around her. It's like, what bro, you be careful.
Yeah, I know. I remember bringing my girlfriend home for the first time back when we lived in Chelsea and texting my roommates, like, clean everything now. Like, please make my room look good immediately.
Your room. You had them cleaning your room. That's amazing.
Absolutely. Oh, yeah. I was like, because I don't think, they're good friends. They helped me out.
You were like, get rid of the mouse food that we put out for Remy or whatever.
Yeah.
He can't be hanging out tonight.
Just an industrial bag of bird feed.
Yeah. So we have a new roommate, and his girlfriend comes around a lot, and she's great. And she pointed something out to us the other day. She was like, "Hey, I noticed you still have some like Christmas decorations up." And we're like, "Oh yeah, we just haven't gotten to it yet." She was like, "Yeah, it's April." And I was like, "Well, yeah, that's fair, but maybe after Easter we'll take it down. We'll just stay in the holiday spirit, But like just little things that I've gotten better at it. I really think I have, but I know one day, if I ever do get married and I'm living with a woman, she's going to be like, "What is wrong with this man?" And I'll be like, "I didn't realize you had to put soap on the plates."
Yeah, you can just trace everything back to this year.
I lived with guys for too long. I've lived with guys for 10 years now.
Yeah, you're definitely you're not evolved as you should be. I'm not either.
Anyway, go ahead.
Outside of the mice thing, I was going to tell this story. It's funny because like these are things that like I didn't even clock as weird. And then now that I'm like a little bit out of living in that apartment, I'm like, that is insane. We used to have this pan and a normal person you use the pan, you clean the pan, you put it back. Our cycle instead was you use the pan and then you leave it on the stovetop dirty. And then the next person using the pan would walk up, clean it, use it, and then leave it there dirty, which is psychotic behavior.
Yeah.
Like truly psychotic. And that was like a year-long cycle that we just like didn't even discuss. It just like naturally happened.
That's how it goes. And then one day someone randomly wakes up and is like, "I'm going to be a cleaner man." And then you're like, "Where is the pan?" Yeah, it's not on the stove. And you're like, I cleaned it and put it away. Like, what? Who are you, dude?
I know. And then any female walks in and is like, "Are you guys the most disgusting people that have ever walked the earth?"
Bro, listen to this. So we had our toilet seat broke, okay? Our toilet seat broke. It's just an old apartment. Nothing crazy is going on our toilet.
Yeah, that's a nice setup.
Yeah. So someone was violently ill.
Yeah.
And no, it was during the earthquake, but the toilet seat broke, right? And I was like, okay, we're having a party like in a couple days. A lot of people are going to be over. We got to order a new one. So I sent an Amazon link to my roommates. I was like, here's a search of like, cheap toilet seats, like under $30 that we can put in for now. And it'll be fine. You don't need an expensive toilet seat for 3 dudes, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, but I'm really busy this week. Can one of you guys take the lead on this? And one of my roommates was like, yeah, I got it. And then he was like, ordered. And I was like, thanks, go. I'll put it on. So it comes in and I put it on and we have like one of the round toilet bowls, right? But there's some oval long toilet hole. That's a weird shape I'm making there, but it looked like the Illuminati and something else. But it's like, I don't want to put gang signs up accidentally, but there's more oval shaped one and then there's circle one. So our bowl is a circle, but he ordered the oval. All right. And so I was like, well, dude, so it came in an hour before the party. It got delivered. And I'm like, damn, we're just going to have to go with this. So we put it on and it's just like the bowl's here and the toilet seat like goes over it. So it's like up, boom. And it's just like hanging off like that much. And it's been like that for 4 months because we were just like, well, we haven't had a party since then. So,
dude, that's character, man. That is character.
And it's like, it'll be that way until we really have to change it.
Yeah.
So
Hey, it
anyway,
adds some life to the apartment.
it really does. Every time like a girl comes over, she's like, "Yeah, what's up with the toilet seat?" And we're like, "Yeah, well, it's kind of like a creative
Yeah,
decision,
it's a
but
creative choice that we made as a group.
yeah, yeah, but
And
it's
we're gonna
weird,
keep it.
man.
No, that just not making the effort to get a new one or change it is the definition of living with men.
Dudes being dudes. Well, dude, there is one more thing I wanted to bring up because Nick and I actually work together. We're in
Yes.
sales for the same bagel shop.
Yep.
We
Changing
sell
the world one bagel at a time.
one bagel at a time. That's our motto. Yeah, Nick kind of covers the cheese sales. He's over the cheese department.
Yes.
I'm more of like the sesame, the seed, just the seeds that go on the bagels, not the
Yeah.
actual bagels.
Glenn's more into the artsy like flair part of things. I'm in the nitty gritty.
Exactly.
But without both of us working together, it would fall apart.
Exactly. So with that, I wanted to ask you a couple things kind of relating sales, comedy, things like that, because we get a lot of rejection in both.
Mhm.
But what is tougher for you? Bombing, like getting rejected by your jokes, or cold calling and getting a bad rejection from like a prospect? What's more painful? Because
I
one
think
is your job and the other is something you really love.
yeah, that's like that's where my mind went. I think probably bombing, just because like when you're bombing, it's not just that you're bombing, it's that you're bombing doing something that you really care about. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like you're up there like pouring your heart and soul into this set,
Right.
and people are looking at you saying not good enough.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Not good enough. And so you're like, okay, that's nice. Cold calling isn't like fun when you get rejected, but
No.
you're just talking to someone that is just some Rick from Tampa that you're not going to see again, you know? So
Yeah.
I don't know. Neither are fun though.
And I don't know if you saw this yesterday. I did share this, but with some of our team at the bagel shop. I had a call yesterday. I cold called someone yesterday, and
Okay.
this nice man answered the phone, seemed a little elderly, and I was asking, I was like, "Hey, I'm trying to get a hold of the bagel guy. Is this bagel man to do business with our bagel shop, right?"
Yeah.
And he was like, I was like, "Is this the right number?" He was like, "Yeah, but he's not here right now. Let me write your number down." And I was like, "Oh, all right, yeah, you can write my number down." And then he was like, "Give me a second, I don't have anything." And I was like, "Hey, no worries, I have his email right here. Like, I can just email him." And he was like, "No, no, no, let me see. I got a paper towel here. Maybe that'll work." And I was like, "Man,
What?
this is a weird secretary, but he's being very nice. So I'm just gonna give him my number." And so I get an email like 10 minutes later that says call question mark, and it says, "Hi Glenn, did you attempt to call me?" And I was like, "Yeah, I did. Sorry I missed your call. I was just kind of calling you about the bagel stuff. Wanted to see if you had some time to catch up about it." And here's what he said. He said, "Hi Glenn, thanks. I'm a little bit confused. You somehow reached the personal cell phone number of my 77-year-old father. I'm baffled how you might have gotten that number, which is not listed publicly anywhere. Would you be able to provide an explanation? This is not a number that has ever been in any capacity associated with me or any of my work, and especially nothing to do with anything related to our bagel business. But we still don't have the budget for Nick and Glenn's bagels this year. Thanks."
Yeah.
So that was how my Friday ended. And even though I don't love, I'm not like, sales is not something I dreamed of forever. It is how I make most of my money. And that was a really embarrassing moment for me. And I was like, you know what? Calling someone's father, I think that's worse. And like him, like
For sure.
ready to kick my ass
Yeah,
because I
that's a new
accidentally
low.
called his father. That's scarier than bombing. Than any bomb I've had, at least. Because I
Yeah.
was like, this dude is about to murder me.
He
I
would
thought,
actually hurt you. Yeah.
yeah,
He'd come
yeah.
for you. That's when you just got to you just got to write back. You're like, straight up, that's on me. You know what I mean?
I
That's on
literally
me,
was
man.
like, bro, I literally was like, "Yo, big dog, hey, not gonna lie, bro, that's my bad.
Yeah.
That's my
No,
bad.
I
But your
hear
dad,
you,
yeah,
and you're right. You're
yeah."
right.
That's literally what I said. I was like, "Yo, I get it, and I'm so sorry." And we're cool. We made up. So he might do business with our bagel shop later in the year. But
I will say I had someone recently on cold calling and sales just straight up tell me that I ruined their day. And that's like you're kind of like, all right, like getting told like we don't have the budget. It's, we don't have enough money to buy bagels right now, or like
yeah,
all those things, like not the right time to invest in the bagel business. That is what it is. But when someone just looks or not looks, just says right into the phone, "You just ruined my day."
That's
Because,
so funny, dude.
but dude, I get it. Like, how would you feel if you got a call at 9:30 in the morning? Hey, it's
Yeah.
Nick from Nick and Glenn's Bagels. You got a
Yeah,
minute?
yeah.
Like, I would probably lose my mind too.
But
So
if you answer the phone, then you don't have a ton going on right then, you know?
yeah,
He
that's
said you
true.
ruined his day. What did you,
Yeah,
how
I
did you
ruined
respond
his
to that?
day. That's such a good question. I think I just was like, "Oh my God, my bad."
Dude, I would
Have a
have
good
put
one.
it back on him. I would have been like, if he'd have been like, yeah, just so you know, you ruined my day. I'd be like, well, if it makes you feel no better, that response also ruined my day.
Yeah, and then
Maybe,
just trauma dump on him.
yeah, yeah. Maybe
Well,
we,
how about this then, brother?
yeah,
I'm going through a lot right now.
yeah, yeah. I just lost my esophagus.
Yeah, I've
Just
been in
like really,
surgery all
yeah.
month. I don't even have the money to pay the medical bills. Are you gonna pay them for me?
Yeah,
You
dude,
gonna pay 'em for me?
my girlfriend made us get rid of our mouse, okay? So I
Yeah.
don't want to hear it, all right?
Yeah, exactly.
Good Lord. Well, Nick, this has been a lot of fun, man. I'll definitely have you back on sometime
Yeah.
in the future. Look forward to doing some shows with you coming up here soon. But before we go, I wanted to give you a minute to plug anything, your social media handle, any shows you have coming up, any projects you're working on, any court cases you have where you need some advocates.
Yeah. So I'm currently under investigation by the FBI for Nick Marcin comedy on Instagram, Nick Marcin on TikTok, trying to post some clips, do more stand up, trying to get like Glenn, do 10 open mics in a week. But no, gonna be grinding. Hopefully we'll have some good content coming. Gonna post some skits, trying to get into that more. So hopefully a lot of exciting stuff coming out. Nick Marcin comedy and Nick Marcin. Yeah.
We love it. And be sure to follow Nick and Glenn's Bagels opening
Yes.
up in Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn.
Exactly. If you leave this, if someone's made it to the end of this and you leave taking one thing, it is Nick and Glenn's Bagels is about to take over.
The one person listening this far is my mom, and she's gonna text me like, "When the hell did you open a bagel shop?" And
Yeah.
I'll be like, "Don't worry about it, Mom.
Don't worry about it.
It's a personal endeavor."
Yeah, it's this is a private investment that we've been spending a lot of time.
We'll see, but now's the time to get some stock in that. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for listening to Glen Tyler TV. Until next time, have a nice day and keep smiling.